Hey guys, and what's up? So in this video, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating out a blog application using NextJS and Appwrite. Now, what is Appwrite? Appwrite is a cloud CMS now in which I fell in love. Okay, so recently I just started using Appwrite. It's not the first time actually. I have used it around 2 to 3 times, and I have some projects in it. Still also, I'll be telling you from the beginning how to create an account. So first of all, let me just sign out from my account. Now you'll have this login page. Let me take you back to the home page. Okay. Now if I'll take you to only the appwrite.io website, only the appwrite.io website, you'll see it is telling me to go to console. Now, if I'm clicking on that, it's telling me to like log in to my account. So I'll sign in with my GitHub account. Now, if you don't have any account, you can click on sign up and it will automatically create your account using your email, password, or your social or your GitHub account. Okay, so after you have created your account, you'll have no projects right here. If you are a beginner, you will have no projects right here. You'll simply have a button to create a new project. Okay, after clicking on that create a new project, what you need to do is, wait a second. I think I already have the project. Okay, so what I'll do is I will create a new project. Okay, so I'll create a new project. What is the name of the project? Okay, so let us keep the name of this project as, let us say, uh, let me just do one thing. Let me just delete this project. Wait a second. Let me just delete this project out because this existing project can create some problems for me. So I'm deleting this project, but if you do not have any project, you can just go ahead, create project and paste in the name. I'll paste the name that I just copied. So Mountain Coders, I thought of a good name, Mountain Coders. No, I'll just go for a region selection. Now, by default, they do not have any regions out there other than Frankfurt. Now, let us just click on create. Now, it will start creating my project. It actually takes some time to provision it. Now you can see I have this project so-called Mountain Coders, and this is the click to copy. Like you can copy this. Okay. Now we'll be using Next.js for our application. Okay, so go for Next.js. Okay, now get started, and we'll start creating another Next.js application. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go inside my YouTube courses. Now inside this, I'll open my PowerShell window. Okay, now yarn create next dash app. Okay, app right. No, I'm naming it as AppWrite blog as you can easily figure it out like whether it's an AppWrite blog or not. Now, would you like to use TypeScript? For the time being, I'll be not using TypeScript because I don't want anyone of you to have confusions regarding TypeScript. Okay, but rather I'll be suggesting you to move on to TypeScript than JavaScript because there are a lot of flaws in JavaScript. Like if you'll concatenate a string with the number, it will be just concatenated. Now, if you want, would you like to use ESLint? Of course, I'll go for yes for everything except the TypeScript and the input unless every prompt for every prompt I am having the answer yes. Okay, now it has started installing the packages. Okay, but let us do one thing. Let us get into our applet blog directory and open this entire directory with our Visual Studio Code. Okay, I have another fancy editor called Windsurf that has been actually provided by the like so just the authors. Okay, so this particular editor has been provided by Codium AI. You can also browse this, but I am not familiar with that editor. So I'm having this Visual Studio Code editor. Now I could have also used WebStorm that I've installed on my system. You can also use that. There is no issue while using WebStorm. Okay. Now you can see this is my JetBrains toolbox. Let me close that out. Now you can see it's trying to install every package. Actually, Yarn is very fast. If you do not have Yarn on your system, I just forgot to tell you, you can just do one thing, npm I manage to Yarn. Now Yarn will be installed and you can use Yarn, of course. Now there's no problem in using npm or npx. You can also use that. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll go inside my Appwrite block. Okay. Now what I'll do is first of all let us go into our Appwrite console into the project. Let us copy this project ID. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll create an env file dot env Appwrite project underscore ID. Okay. I'll have a DB ID as well, collection ID as well. Now, inside this databases, for free plans, you only have a limitation of one database per project. Don't worry, you can create unlimited collections. Okay, so you can see it's telling me you do not have, you can't back up your database. I just don't want that. If you want, you can upgrade to your paid plans. You can browse their plans. There are really awesome plans. So I'll name it as production for the time being. I'll name it as production. Now I have to copy this collection, this database ID as well. I have clicked on this and the database ID has been copied. Paste it here and create a new collection and name the collection as blocks 8. Okay. Your database has no backup policy. I know that. So this is our collection ID, not the database ID. So this is the project collection ID. Okay. So these are the three environment variables that I have created. Now what I need to do is I need to add Appwrite to my Appwrite to my project. Yarn add app. Okay. Now you have a lot of options other than web part. Now let us go ahead to the overview and getting started. Add a platform. I need to add a web platform. Now this should be named as Mountain Coders, and the host will be local host for the time being. If I'm hosting it on this version, I'll be specifying the host as well. Okay, so you have this cloud SDK as well as you have the CDN. If you're using vanilla JavaScript, you can go ahead with the CDN. But as I'm using this so-called Next.js, so Applet has been already installed. I have used Yarn. If you're using npm, just go with the npm install Applet. Now, let me mention that if you're using pnpm or Yarn or npm, just use the same for the entire project. Do not change the package manager in between the project. It might cause some conflicts. Now, inside the src directory, you can see I'm having an app folder. But in the src directory, let us create a config folder. Inside that, I'll create a appwrite.config.js. Okay. Now here, what I should do is import line. Wait a second. It's just refreshing the JavaScript and databases. Wait a second. Restart PS server. I don't know why it's not providing me auto suggestions from Apple. Okay. Now what should I do is const client. Now you'll see that it has automatically suggested me this fonts client import client from app, right? Now if you click on next, you have your client project ID. Click on next, go to dashboard. Let me tell you, cost client is equal to new client. Okay, don't provide any semicolon, just hit and enter and just write a dot set project. Dot set project, what is the value? The value will be this project ID. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll write a process.env dot next public. Now note that every environment variable with this prefix next public, it will be publicly accessible. So let me tell you, you can also protect out your entire environment variable by removing that next public prefix. Now const databases. Now this variable is will be used the most. Okay, so const databases is equal to new databases that takes in a client so that we have created previously. Now, what I'll do is I'll just write an export and inside this I'll write databases inside the curly bracket notations. Okay, now what should I do is first of all, we need to create some attributes inside our database. Inside the collection, we need to create some attributes. Now, what are attributes? Basically, attributes are the fields that we'll be using to modify the data or the fields that will contain the data. Title. Okay, so the size will be 80. There is no default value. We should make this required. Then we have a tagline tagline, and this size will be 50, at most 50, and this is also required. Okay, create another attribute that will be content. Okay, 80,000 required. Okay, feed. Now we have these three things. Okay, now what I'll do is go inside the settings, go for the permissions. Okay, click on this plus any. If anyone comes to the website, just allow them to read all the post or individual post. Will not allow any user to just create it or update and delete. No, will not allow them to create any post or modify the posts. Okay, so click on this update. Now permission have been updated. Okay. Now what I'll do is now I'll create a document. Now for the document, learn Flask of development. Now what I'll do is I'll just go for Flask Python. Okay. So this is the official documentation and the Wikipedia page. What should I do now is I should copy everything. Okay. Copy this particular Flask is a microwave framework and up to this, not the history part. Okay, I don't want that. Flask is a microwave framework and this thing right away. And then we'll have this particular code block right here. Now for this code block, what should I do is I'll just do one thing. I'll just write here read code create class. Okay, language language dash HTML and I'll write a code. Okay, paste it in here slash code and slash bin. Now what should I do is I need to encode all of this. Okay, so I need to remove this. Okay, click on next. Okay, this field is required. I think I missed out the field. Okay, so let us provide this tagline that Flask is a microwave framework. Next, document security is disabled. Why? Okay, so I need to enable the document security because if you want to update the documents, this will help us to update our documents over the cloud. Now we can go ahead and create some dashboards in the Next.js application further. Now what we'll do is we'll use ShadCN. Okay, UI.ShadCN. Now let me tell you, before this, I also had created the same project. So I have some Gemini props. Now you can see per component for block. Okay, so this is particularly the navbar component. Where is the navbar component? Wait a second. I have a navbar component right here. Let me just find out. Second. I think it's Okay, so I think it's now here. This is the navigation bar component. Let me copy that. Okay, I'll providing you the source code. Don't worry. Now inside the src directory, we need to also create a components folder. Now let me introduce you to Shatcn. Shatcn is a component building library, builder component library. Let's start off. Now, if we'll go for Tailwind CSS v4, Tailwind v4, they have also added the default support for Tailwind v4. Go for Next.js. Now you can see they have this such command to initialize Shatcn inside our entire application. Okay, so what should I do is it's just Next.js. Okay, it's just a canary unit. Okay. Now it will just install the required things. Okay. First of all, it will validate our Next.js. Let us see. Okay. So I'll be using the zinc base color. I like that one. Okay. So it will automatically initialize everything. This is the components JSON. Okay. Now, what should I do? Now, what should I do is, I have to add a button component. Now, if we'll go below and see for a button component, we'll have this button now. Okay. Now, you can copy this command to add a button to your application. Now, what this will do is it will create a UI folder inside this components folder, and it will add the button.jsx component inside it. Okay, so you'll see this is a button.jsx component, and outside the UI folder, inside the components folder, let us create another file that is navbar.js. Okay, now Windows plus V. Now we have this particular right here, particular thing. Now what should I do is you'll see that this is the variant outline. Save that. And what should I look for is let us just start the development server yarn dev. Okay, now let us just get inside this application. Now you will see will have the default page for the Next.js. This is the default page. Now, what should I do is let us just go ahead inside the app directory. We'll have this page.js. Remove everything except one text. Let me add one text. Okay, I am page.js. Okay, this is one text. I am page.js. Now inside the layout.js file, what we need to do is remove this font. Okay. Now what should I do is I should bring in inter font. Okay. Now this should be inter font. Now I like this font enough. So this is an awesome font. Okay. Now variable. Okay. Variable will be this one. And what I'll do is I'll write here class name is equal to, okay, so we need to use this object notation, and then we need to have the font dot class name. Okay, so just save that. Okay, so now you'll see I think there are some modifications in the font. Okay, so I don't think you have noticed the changes. Okay, so this was the font before. Let me just zoom it a little bit. And if I'll just save this, you can see they have changed the font. Okay, just reset everything. I am page.js. Now, what should I do is before this trigger, I will add my navigation bar. Okay, now you can see this is a navigation bar that Gemini has designed for me. Now, instead of this block, I'll have the home page because I'll be populating every block on my home page slash. Okay. Now, also I had given it a prompt that will create a responsive grid for the block. Okay. So you have this block grid. Okay. What we can do is we can copy this code. Okay. Now, what's the benefit of using this AI inside our application is that we can just do a quick design. Okay, so we need to give the prompt properly. Okay, now you'll see that it has given a lot of things. But let me tell you, before doing this, we need to bring in something called server-side actions. Now, here what I'll do is I'll create inside the app directory, I'll create a server folder slash fetch blocks.js. Okay, now I'll use the use server directive. Now this is a server component. Okay, export async function fetch blocks. Okay, export async function fetch blocks. Okay, now inside what I'll do is const response is equal to await databases dot list documents. Okay, now it will ask me for the database ID. Okay, so what is the database ID? Process.env dot next underscore public underscore app right underscore db underscore id. Okay, now we will have this particular collection ID collection. Now what I'll return just the array of response dot documents. Okay, you have a lot of properties as well inside the response, but I just want the documents. Now what should I do is I need to uh, write here const blocks is equal to await fetch blocks. Now it will raise me an error that await are only allowed within async functions. What I need to do is export default async function home. Okay, so this will bring out all the blocks. Now let us just add this particular code snippet that I just copied from Gemini. Okay, now what should I do is I need to import the button component from the component slash us slash button. Okay, now just save that. Now we'll see missing required parameter database ID. Wait a second. What? Right. I think I just forgot. Okay, so I also have this project right here. Okay, so link is not defined. Okay, so link is not defined. So let us import link from next slash link. Okay, now let us see. You'll have this part. Now there is a padding issue right here. Okay, what is happening? Each child. Okay, so it must have a unique key prop. Now this is not ID. This is actually a dollar ID. Now this is the collection ID. Okay, now we have a title, tagline. We do not have any such field called slug. Okay, now let me just do one thing inside this link part. What I'll do is I'll provide a button here. Okay. Wait a second. I think I had another prompt as well to add an image component to this. Okay, so let me just copy this. Okay, so this was the proper grid one. Okay, so this was the proper grid because it has the image container. Blog dot let us see tagline. Let us just replace slug and this ID with dollar ID. Okay, and inside this, what I'll do is inside the link part, I'll add a button. Okay, that will come from our components library inside the UI folder. Okay, now you'll see it will raise some errors. No errors have been raised. Now this should have a full width or width fit. Okay, now inside Tailwind v4, actually there is a extension called ES7. Okay, ES7 React Redux snippets. Now you can install this and also another extension for the Tailwind IntelliSys. Now this is not working properly because it is based on the Tailwind CSS version 3. Now you need to create a .vs code folder. Inside this .vs code folder, you need to provide a settings.json. Okay, now here we'll have a Tailwind CSS. Now just write Tailwind CSS. Okay, and you have this tailwind css.experimental.config file. Where is the config file? It's inside the src directory, inside the app directory, and it's the globals.css. If you not specify this, you'll not get any auto solution for tailwind CSS. Okay, now you can see it is providing me the auto solution. Okay, so wfit. Why I'm providing wfit? Because by default the link will be of full width. Okay, and for the button, I'll add a class link for like cursor dash pointer. Okay, let me just switch off my air conditioner. Yeah. Now let's fix the padding issues. Inside the layout.js, what I'll do is I'll write here cn. Okay, cn. Wait a second, not here. Okay, this one before this after this navbar, I'll create a main element and add a main element inside which I'll add this class name attribute. There should be padding top of 20. Okay, let us just save that and let us see. Yeah, now this looks amazing. Okay, this looks amazing. Now what should I do is let us just go to downloads. I had downloaded one image right here. Okay, let us just place that inside our Appwrite blog directory. Inside the public directory, I'll have this. Okay, now this should be thumbnail.jpg. Okay, now if I reload it, it should display our image correctly. Yeah, now this looks proper. Okay, so this is now properly displaying everything. Now, if I'll click on read more, it will just take me to this 404 page because this page does not exist here. Now, in Next.js versions greater than equals to 13, what will happen is you need to use the latest app router, and inside that you have a concept of dynamic routing. Before this, you had the like page or file routing concepts, but here you need to create a nested folder for this slug. Okay, so if you are going for a slug, so you need to create a slug directory like this, and then after this, inside that you have to create a page.js. But in older versions of Next.js, what happened is you needed to you directly created a file name, and it automatically suggested you the code for like parameters. Okay, dynamic parameters. Now, what I'll do is inside this app directory, let us create a folder for blog. Wait a second, I had a typo. Inside this block, I'll have a square bracket notation and create a folder called ID. And inside that ID folder, I'll have a page.js. Okay, now what I'll do is export default function log. Okay, and here we have to destructure params. Okay, how to bring out the ID from the params? Const ID is equal to await params. Okay, now it will also raise an error that await is only allowed inside asynchronous functions. Now await params. Now this is inside a parenthesis, and outside that I'm writing this ID. Now we need to return anything. Okay, so let me tell you, I am already having this prompt also for creating a block container. Okay, I think this was the okay. Okay, this was the container right here. Let me copy that and paste it in here. Image URL is not defined. Okay, I know that image URL is not defined. Dot slash. not dot slash thumbnail dot jpg. Okay, we still have some errors like image URL is not defined. Okay, so here we have this image URL definition. We just remove that. So now you'll see that title is not defined. Now what I need to do is I need to create another server action inside the server. So the server action will be fetch log.js. Okay. Now what should I do is I'll just copy the code from this fetch blocks. Now paste it here inside fetch block.js. Rename the function to fetch block. Add a ID parameter right here. And to get the document, what I need to do is I need to write here uh, get document. Okay. So you can go for the query parameters and match the ID. Whichever ID is matching, we could return the zeroth element of the document's part. But I'll go for the get document function. I'll be telling you what I'm telling you. Okay. So let us go inside this in a particular directory, this page.js inside the ID folder. Now const log is equal to await fetch log. It accepts an ID. Now let us just restructure everything. Okay, so no, actually I do not know each and every property, so I can just go ahead and write her blog dot. Okay, so what will happen is you'll see this you'll see this particular HTML here, but I want that this should appear properly. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and write a const and just destructure the content part. Okay, I'll just destructure the content part. Now, instead of writing directly like this, what should I do is I'll write a class name, not class name actually, dangerously set inner HTML. Now it will have a object. Now inside that I'll give this underscore HTML and provide the content helper. Now what this will do is it will just execute all the HTML present here. Now what I need to do is I need to modify the content a little bit. Okay, data inside data. I will just add some paragraph tags right here. Okay. Now, sorry, I just pressed Ctrl S. I'm in a habit of pressing Ctrl S. Okay, so if I reload this, you will see that these have been added with some uniform spaces. Now, what I will do is I'll add a plugin called Tailwind Scissors Typography because the default Tailwind Scissors had some issues like with the headings. If I provide a S3 heading, what that will do is it will just wait a second. I'll just see. Done flask structure happened. Now, okay. So if I'll just remove this class, this text3xl class, now you'll see that it has the issue like it'll just render the h1 as a normal text, but I don't want that. Okay, so add yarn add. What I'll do is add thread tailwind css slash typography. Okay, now this will fix everything inside this tailwind CSS. Now just come into the globals.css and do this thing that I'm showing you. Just save that. Okay, now you'll see that this has some code highlighting right here. Okay, now what should I do is I need to do this tag. I'll just add this text 3XL font bold and MB4 that was by default there. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll add one library called Prism.js. Okay, Prism.js is just a code highlighter that you can use. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go for select and unselect all. Okay, and then I'll have a copy to toolbar button. Wait a second, I need to change the theme. I'll use Okadia. Okay, I love this thing. By the way, download CSS and download the JavaScript file as well. Okay, and inside the downloads, let me just copy these two files. The tutorial Appwrite blog. Now inside the public directory and place these two files. Okay, now what should I do is, particularly for the blog layout only. Okay, what I'll do is export default function blog layout. Okay, return. What I'll return is HTML lang en. Okay, and let us say we're bringing children from the layout. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll write a body, last name, padding top of 20. Okay, now in this I'll have a children component. Now inside this HTML lang, I'll have a head component. Now inside that head, what I'll do is I'll add some link to CSS. This is CSS, and inside the body I'll have a script src that will point out to prism.js. Okay, I think that should fix everything. Now default export is not a React component slash export default function. What happened? Just see what happened. Seven issues. HTML cannot be a child of main. Still the issue that HTML cannot be the child of main. Oh, sorry. Can I do one thing? Can I just move in the Prism.js inside this folder and Prism CSS as well? Let me just remove this layout.js file. Okay. Now inside this, let us just okay. So I think everything is good now. Now let us see language slash py dash python. Okay. Let's see if everything has been fixed. Why it's not able to highlight everything. Is there any error while just doing that highlighting part? I don't think there is any error. Okay, so throws. I think there is some issue in adding this Prism CSS and Prism.js library. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let us just I don't know what's the problem right now. If I remove this pros one, if I remove this class name pros from here, we'll just save that, and you will see that this has no best right now. Okay, I just faced the same issues in the previous twin. Let us ask Gemini. Okay, it's just telling me to do like add the use effective, but I can't do that because everything is based on this particular. I don't know why it's not working. Maybe it's caching something. If that doesn't work, now you'll see that there is an error like JavaScript execution. New worker is not statically analyzable. Let us just do just one thing inside the. Let us move that inside the public folder. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and okay. So import this. We just remove that. Okay. So still nothing is working. Let me see what is the issue now. Okay. Yeah. Now it works. Okay. So I needed to add these things to the particular. Let me just do one thing. What I can do is inside the next shares. Let us learn about something about layouts. Okay, how to create layouts and templates. Now you can see nesting layouts. Okay, okay. So I understood what is my mistake. Now I can do just one thing. I can do just one thing. Removing everything from here. Inside the like inside this block folder, I'll have to create a layout.js. Okay, okay. Now export default function blog layout. Okay, this will accept children. Return. What I'll return is a little section. Okay. Now let's do one thing. First of all, I'll have a link CSS. Okay. Now this will be pointing towards the prism.css, and a script tag, script src, which will be pointing toward prism.js. Okay. And a section that will just go, not a section actually. Okay, directly I'll just return the children part. Okay, now I think everything is we are good to go. Okay, so let us just reload that. Now, one issue is that hydration failed because, okay, so that's the error that is coming. So what we need to do is we need to delete this entire .next folder, do a yarn dev again. Okay, and just reload this. Still also an issue. Hydration failed because still also it's showing me this hydration error. I don't know why. Suppress hydration on. I think inside the page ID, there's no issue with while we are writing this, because this layout actually overrides everything. You just delete it and see what happens right here. Okay, so now we don't have any hydration errors. Let me just remove this suppressed hydration only and let us see again. Okay, so we are not having any hydration errors now. So we are good to go, and we can also post this one to our production. Okay, now let us do one thing. Let us just go ahead and see what about metadata. Okay, so metadata. Now what we can do is we can also dynamic metadata. Now what we can do is let's go for JavaScript. Okay, so this is the generate metadata function. Okay, what we can do is we can go here inside our this particular page. Okay, now what I'll do is before this main component, I have to write exportation function generate metadata. Okay, so it will accept the params. Okay, and let us just copy this. Just copy this. And what should I do is return title. Title, what is the title? Title will be like, I'll have some backticks, blog dot title. Okay, and then I'll have my blog name, mountain coders. Okay, now you'll see learn flask of development mountain coders. Now we are having some issues with this while this code is rendering. Okay, so async defer. Okay, we'll have some issues while loading everything. Okay, and the description, what is the description? Description will be blog dot tagline. Okay, now if I'll see the code writer, now you'll see that learn flask of development mountain coders. Now this is there is metadata. Where's the meta description? Okay, description, meta name description. There is a Flask is a microwave framework written in Python. What you can do is inside the main layout, let us just say change everything. So this is our home page. Home. Okay. Mounted folders. jump into the programming, into the world of programming articles. Okay, now let us see what happens. Okay, so jump into the world of programming articles. Now, what we can do is now we can just deploy it. Okay, so let's just do one thing. Let me just remove the default commit, default Git repository that has been already initialized by the Next.js by default. I'll just remove that. Okay. Now what I'll do is inside the git ignore file, let me just ignore some of the things inside the .env. Okay. Now I'll just ignore some of the things except this .vs code folder. I think that is not being ignored. Okay. Now what I can do is I can write here a git commit, git init. Okay. Initialize the git empty git repository. Now initial commit. Okay. Commit. Now let us go ahead to GitHub desktop. Okay. Now file, add a local repository. What is the local repository path? Inside the YouTube courses, I am having an AppWrite blog. Okay. Add repository. Now you'll see this. Wait a second. Wait a second. I think I just did a wrong thing. Okay. I need to sign in again to my GitHub account. Okay. So email and password. Okay. Username and password. Wait a second. Okay, so a mail has been sent to me. Wait a second. I just hand out. It has just pasted in everything. Pasted. Okay, so it will just auto verify me. Verify session. Continue. Okay, open GitHub desktop.exe. Okay, keep this code private. No, I don't want to keep this code private. Just publish the repository. Do nothing. Okay. Now you will see I'll have AppRed blog repository created right here. Okay, so this is the AppRed block. Okay, so I have pushed the entire code using my other account. Okay, now you will see this is the entire code that has been written. Now the percentage of CSS is more because Shadsen has written some more CSS. Now let us just do one thing. Let me just get into Vercel. Okay, Vercel.com, and let me tell you, you can just push your dynamic website to Vercel for free. Continue with the GitHub. I want to authorize GitHub and to like authorize this. There is already an account, so I have to log in actually. Okay, already the account exists, so I need to log in actually. What is happening right now? Version.com login. Why it's not working? Okay, so I have not yet linked my. What the heck is happening right here? Okay, so this is my code. What? Okay, I understood. Actually, this account has some other name. Okay, so this is some name coding menu, but that is not my username actually. Wait for a second. Wait for a second. I actually had a old GitHub account. Okay, add new and a project. Okay, continue with GitHub. Okay, now install. I think I need to link my GitHub account to this. Install. Okay, GitHub has been installed. Now we have this applet block. Import it. Now we need to add some of the environment variables right here. Let us just copy that. Okay, environment variables, add more. Set of this. Paste here. Okay, now deploy it. Okay, now what I need to do is, wait a second, wait. Uh, no, cancel deployment. I actually forgot to just modify this. Wait a second. I wanted to actually modify the, what's happening? Why I'm forgetting every time. Add a .env. Okay, so deploy it. Okay, so for the timing, what I need to do is I need to actually configure a web platform again, add a platform. Okay, so another web app. Now the same name. Okay, mountain coders.vercel.app. Okay, next, go to dashboard. Okay, I think ESLint failed to load parcel deployment. Some what happened? Okay, so yeah, now it's being hosted. Okay, if you'll go to my this website, you will see this learn Flask web development. This is because I just added the web platform. Okay, so let us just go to read more. Now, what this will do is it will render this, and I think this was much better. Now, thank you everyone for watching this video. And after this video, I'll be reverting all of these keys. So, okay, and thank you everyone for watching this video, and I will see you next time.